Smell that?
You fart?
No.
Already?
What?
That's the taint between the holidays.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Taint.
Yeah, it's like after Christmas and before New Year's.
Happy Taint Day?
It's the taint between the where it's kind of like your happy Christmas is over, but you're sad, and you're excited New Year's is coming, but you wanted to wait.
I'm happy hanging out in the Taint. I'm enjoying this whole week. I'm off this whole week, and I'm spending time in the Taint and enjoying it.
Nice.
I don't get that. I wish I could. I could. It was a choice. I could have taken the time off, but I was trying to be a good person.
All right. Well, welcome back to Dudes Like Us podcast. I am Paul.
I am Jeff.
And I am Sean. And we have a special guest.
Very, very special VIP in my book.
We picked him up on Oaklawn Street.
Yeah.
He was wearing a fanny pack with some rainbow-colored socks.
He looks a little rough.
And suspenders.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Allen.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. We're very excited to have you.
So Alan's he came in for the holidays to visit fam, and we're excited. Every time Alan comes into town, it's always a party.
It's a party.
It's a party. Kind of like Paul's mouth. It's always a party.
Wow.
You know?
So
It's got to be, right?
this is the esteemed father of my wife.
Oh, I wasn't sure if we were able to share that.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't we?
But
I'm very proud. I'm very proud to be this
Connect those
gentleman's
dots.
son-in-law. He's never accepted me, but I'm very proud to be his son-in-law.
Well, I haven't liked you either, so
Nah.
Well, it kind of goes
you have
along.
you have to like someone before you can accept them.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Thanks for pointing that out, Alan. All right. So here we are nestled in between Christmas and New Year's.
yeah,
Very nice.
Kind of a bland moment. It's kind of like, I'm not going
It's
to take
kinda
down
like-
the Christmas stuff
It's
yet.
kind of like there's a period in July whenever or I don't know exactly when it is, where there's no sports except like golf. There's like a stretch of a few days. Maybe it's the All-Star break. I don't know. Football hasn't started up yet. Hockey's done. Basketball's done. Baseball's on break.
Yeah, but we got inundated with sports like during the Christmas weekend. I mean,
no, I'm
they were-
talking over the summer. There's a time,
he's
just like
making
now.
a comparison.
Now is the taint of holidays, according to Sean.
Oh,
I'm
I see
saying
the
there's
analogy.
a
I
taint
hear
of
ya.
sports in the
I got you.
summertime.
I got you.
So
Okay. All right. So we're all coming down off our Christmas high. Were there any exciting moments that happened during the Christmas break for anybody? Anybody go anywhere? I think everybody stayed.
everybody
home.
stayed in.
But I tell you, I did my very first, and you guys participated in it. Well, like three of the four of us participated in it. It was my first night Christmas Eve party. Completely off the hook. I had no idea this kind of stuff happened.
This was a work party? What do you mean?
No, this was a party that we attended on Christmas Eve.
Right.
It was a neighbor, and I remember you walking up there. Like, Sean, this is a tier 1. This is a tier 1. Don't you fuck it up for me,
Oh,
Sean.
that party.
Well, how many other Christmas Eve parties have you gone to?
I don't remember much of this whole week.
I believe it. Good Lord.
Paul was drunk.
You should
18
have
hours
seen
a
him.
day.
We did. We went to.
He was walking around
so-
like Captain Kangaroo with his freaking big old
do you have a
cowboy
pouch?
boots on.
Well, here's what sucked. Everybody was supposed to wear pajamas,
Yeah. Well, we didn't
and
get
my
the memo.
son did not tell us. Although he wore pajamas.
Yeah, he wore pajamas. We kind of dressed up a little bit, and Alan was even there. You know,
Yeah.
One
I
of the
dressed up in
savings-
slacks and a nice sweater,
Yeah.
red sweater,
Alan
Yeah,
sleeps
you
the
look
nude.
good. Yeah, we all look good, but we were completely
overdressed.
inappropriately dressed.
I mean, this
Yes.
is where the host of the house has a T-shirt on, and it says "D's nuts," and I was like, "All right, well, good to know. If I ever get an invitation to come back to this Christmas Eve party,
Which is unlikely.
now that you had it showed up there and you did all those
Whatever.
things that you did,
Yeah.
All right, so
what
this
happened?
is okay. No, nothing. It was a wild party, and they're known for throwing wild parties. So this is my son's. This is basically some of my son's best friends. His father threw the party, right? And
Well, his best friends. Dad.
I should say that. Yeah, it's his
Yeah.
best friend's house where they throw the party.
Danny.
Danny. And so one thing that was really, really interesting that I had never seen before is on the pool table they had cups, a whole bunch of cups, like all
these little solo cups
solar cups that were covered, and then
with a napkin and a rubber band.
when the time came, you had to reach through there and pull out a little shot bottle right? The little.
And do it right
Airplane,
there.
And then
airplane
Yeah.
bottles.
Oh, it was actually Christmas paper.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christmas. Well, the thin stuff.
Yeah.
And then,
I couldn't see that.
so you pull yours out, and then that's
Yeah.
and
So
then everybody pulls theirs out, and then when
it
the
was
time,
like a Christmas gift.
And then everybody shoots it right there. and
Everybody
there.
Oh
shot
my
it,
god!
yeah.
And it was
you
they
get
had all kinds
Everclear?
of stuff.
You get Everclear.
No, so what was cool is there was some trading going on.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
buttering.
Yeah, I got rid of kombucha, not kombucha.
Well, kombucha's not
Kamchata, something chata. I don't know.
horchata.
And I had the peanut butter one. I've never done that before ever.
How was it? It wasn't bad.
It was pretty good, actually.
It's like
I
liquid
enjoyed
peanuts.
it. And, I can't do shots. And, of course, I was history after that.
Oh,
No, you weren't.
well, he had made a point to say, "God, I'm kind of messed up," and we played our pool game, and it showed because I'm
Our
just
first
thinking.
pool game
Really?
was terrible.
Oh, well, dude,
whatever.
Alan is
I'm
always
sure
the one
he's
that
the one
is.
that probably.
No, well, I'm always am the one that's making us fail. But this particular time,
Well, you scratched.
I did. Well, I scratched on the 8 ball, but
Oh.
my whole point is
Yeah, it
that
doesn't end
we
well when you
lean
But I didn't
on
shoot
Alan.
well.
Typical.
You're right. I did not shoot well.
Well,
Two
he didn't make
He
a
always
single
comes up
God
short.
bless him ball. No, he didn't make a single one. So it was just like it was odd because we always lean on Alan whenever we get in these billiard
Of
predicaments.
course, we
because
can suck.
he's
we
an
can
ace.
suck because he's a freaking shark, man.
And I'll tell you what,
You're a pool
nobody
shark.
would know this. Nobody. You can go anywhere on the planet and take out Alan and be like, all right, we're gonna play for $1,000. The game is horse,
You're
and he's gonna fucking win.
you're describing something he is very familiar with. As a matter of fact,
That's my. What?
you did that quite a bit.
What?
Pool?
Yeah, you hustled at pool.
Did you hustle?
500 at a time. And that was in 60.
Yes, we're talking to Paul Newman here.
No, well,
The hustler.
You were a hustler, and
was
then
like-
you
Was
started
Tom
running
Cruise
with
in that movie
Chad.
too?
it was 66,
they remade it, maybe.
67.
And then you started running with Chad too, because Chad's a great. Chad is his other son,
My oldest son.
the oldest son. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
My wife's brother.
Chad's good. Cameron's a very good pool player.
Yeah, yeah. So we have
So it's in the
you
genes.
have a family of good pool players, and you would go out to bars, and you guys would play and piss people off, and get
Yes.
into some dicey situations, right?
There's been a few.
Yeah. So anyway, people don't like getting beaten, and then when you get on a roll, you start to talk a little trash.
Oh yeah.
Pool is the worst game I should ever play because I get too serious and too competitive, and
Yeah.
I become a
very
real
exciting.
jerk.
You know what's funny?
I become a real jerk.
What's funny is I was the guys we were playing it. I mean, you started going in the zone, and I was just started laughing. I was shaking my head laughing because you were going in the zone, and I couldn't have cared less, right? Well, that's not true. I got upset when I missed shots, but they pulled me aside and they're like, "What's going on?" Whatever. And I was like, "He's competitive. He's competitive."
Are you
Don't
talking about
worry."
Christmas Eve?
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
Oh.
And so I made sure that nobody misread you. I just said he
And
gets
Tara,
in the zone.
thanks to Tara, she started giving me bottles of water because I was feeling bad.
Yeah, she
And
brought
she
you
kept
some
bringing me
chips and
water.
salsa.
She kept bringing one bottle of water after the other.
Good
Oh, that was after
for
the
her.
shot.
And then I actually started getting better.
Oh, dude,
So
he
you
played.
and I played together, and we did really well.
Well, yeah, I don't know how I got gypped out of the whole deal, but
Well, because you suck.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
well, Alan gets back on there because we do in a rotation. You put your nickels on the table or the quarters, and when it comes time for you to
Right.
put your quarters in, it's your turn. So Alan, he finally gets a chance to get back up there, and he nails it. I think I don't know if they sunk a ball. He went around the table. It's like dunk, 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 and he was like, "Suck it" at the end.
Yeah, that's
Then he's like, I'm out.
Gotta go.
happening. It was fun. It was a fun party though, man. Everybody
It
was everybody was happy. Everybody was in a good mood and
Yeah.
drinking,
And
drinking too
you
much.
brought up
and-
the
fun.
the whole drink a shot thing because I think it's kind of an icebreaker. And I think people need to do more of that. And I think I'm not a huge fan of some of these sweet liquors that they put in there. Like they
Yeah.
had some amaretto and some crap like that. But if you just do it and shut the hell up,
well,
you'll have fun.
some of that really sweet stuff you have to take a shot of. I mean, you can't just sip it. Like remember that praline whiskey?
Oh yeah.
So super like
It's very sweet.
very
Yeah.
sweet, great taste, right? And then we shot them and we were like, wow, this is like a dessert.
Yeah, but
Well,
if you
I
drink
put- I put-
slowly,
I put
you'll
one on a
get
cube.
diabetes.
Put one on a cube and I was like, after a couple sips, I was like, done. Couldn't finish it. Had to
Too
dump
sweet.
it. Oh,
Like-
had to dump it.
I got to
Yeah.
tell you what, fellas, I'm not sure you needed a shot. if you looked at some of them girls that are in pajamas, I thought that was pretty hot, actually.
Negligees.
If
Yeah.
tight-
No, they weren't. They
No,
were
they were
just
pajamas,
They
but
were not
I heard some
negligees.
disappointment in Paul's,
they were
or
tight.
Sean's voice.
Those on
No,
the
they
younger
weren't.
girls, those pajamas were super tight.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yes. Yes.
God. I get on the phone. I'm
I
like,
tried not to look because I would have got myself in trouble.
take my phone out. And I'm like dialing Jeff. I'm like, Jeff, Jeff,
So,
you're
yeah.
never gonna believe who's here. And they're like, well, what? Who's here? I was like, remember those girls that are working out in front of us when we're in the elliptical? You know,
Right.
the girls.
They're all here.
I was like, they are all here.
The ones you drool over at the
Yes.
gym.
No, we don't drool. I want to
It's
say
just motivation.
They inspire us.
Oh yeah.
They
It's
inspire
When
us.
they walk by or look your direction, you're like sucking in the gut. You're like,
No, I don't do
grunting,
that.
grunting
I
on my
learned my lesson.
I can't suck it in that far.
If
and
you
you
suck in,
start yelling out 135.
if you suck in your
136.
gut while you're on the elliptical, you'll end up blacking out. You cannot do that.
So what did you do Christmas Eve? I know you had family stuff going on. What did you do?
We, I had both boys home. My oldest flew in from Texas Tech,
Right.
Christmas Day, or I'm sorry, Christmas Eve day, and we had the traditional. I don't know if they're traditional or not, but they are with my wife. They weren't when I was growing up, but she had tamales. I think a lot of people have tamales on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. I thought that was a New Year's Day thing.
I don't know. I think it's
Is that
Christmas.
a Texas thing?
I don't know. I'd never heard of it when I was growing up, but I was.
And you
rampant.
make them, or you just
we
eat
got
them?
well. We
Oh, Tara's family does it.
yeah. We've
Make
gotten
'em.
them.
Yeah,
from-
they make them.
Yeah.
We've gotten homemade ones before. We've gone to restaurants and bought some. These were from Costco. They're actually not bad.
They're really good.
And
We've tried them.
yeah, and so we had those, and we had a nice family dinner, and then we sat down, and my oldest wanted to do a Harry Potter marathon while he was here. So we watched Harry Potter on
How
Christmas Eve.
painful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. My wife loves Harry Potter,
And
I
we
mean,
watched it.
and I can't stand it.
I like Harry Potter, but a marathon, I don't know.
Yeah, isn't there like 21 movies?
There's 7. There's 8 actually, and
I've
You
never
watched
watched
all
a
of
Harry
them?
we
Potter
watched
ever.
all of them.
Yeah, you probably
we
haven't
started.
seen one of them, have you? Not one
We
Harry
started
Potter.
Christmas Eve, and we watched the first one ever, whichever one it is, the Sorcerer's Stone. Terrible. We made fun of it all the way through because their boys were old. When they first saw it, they were young. And
Yeah, they
didn't know
thought it was cool.
They didn't know bad acting from good, right? And now they're
Right.
watching it and they're just like, God, this is terrible acting.
Well, then they're going to see 8 movies of terrible acting.
Right. Well, it gets better as you go, but when they were young, it was really bad. So we did that.
The
And-
storyline is good.
It is. It is. Actually,
But-
I heard the books are amazing.
I read the books. The books.
It's
are
a
good.
ripoff of Star Wars, though. Oh, what do you
Oh
got
yeah,
there?
Harry Potter and Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
It is
It's an absolute
kidding,
ripoff.
right?
It's the same thing.
Are you
not
kidding?
exactly the same.
There's nothing like it. It's sorcerers and
Really? Sorcerers and Jedis? Go on.
one has this lightsaber.
Okay, so let's let's talk about this.
I don't want to dive into
Actually,
this.
well, we got Harry Potter, right? And
Okay.
his sidekick, Harry,
The redhead.
yeah, the redhead. No one knows his name. What's his name?
That's why.
Yeah, nobody cares. And then Luke Skywalker, you have Han Solo.
There's an article that says Harry Potter is a Star Wars.
Yeah,
ripoff.
finally, as always expected, but now hard, solid proof has emerged that once for all the shows that J.K. Rowling, a.k.a. the great plagiarist, stole her entire concept for Harry Potter from George Lucas Star Wars. For shame, lady. For shame, bitch. See if you can scroll down a little bit.
I
See if we
don't
have
buy
some
that.
actually... There we go. Hold on. So
I don't buy that at
the
all.
similarities, but not a ripoff. Those are ideas. All right. So basically, what she's saying is she's comparing Luke Skywalker to Harry Potter. She's, you got the redhead Han Solo. You got Princess Leia is the girl chick on there. You've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then you have who's the big Waldorf?
The ogre guy,
Yeah, who's that guy?
that gigantic guy. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So there's a whole schematic,
This
and
is so dumb.
what are you
This is a
talking about?
waste of time. There's nothing. Okay, I shouldn't say there isn't similarities.
First of all, did you see Harry Potter?
yes, I've
shut-
seen them.
Oh,
Don't say shut the.
the front door.
I don't. Thank you. I like that better.
Fuck up.
Very offensive when you say the other.
Who's
I don't
Yoda?
say shut the fuck up. That's rude.
You say it a lot to me.
I do
Oh,
not.
big fight. We're gonna have to turn off the podcast now.
So who's Yoda in Harry Potter?
Exactly.
Yoda would be like one of the old dudes up in there that keeps the bird. The
That's Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Well,
Right?
who's Obi-Wan then?
Obi-Wan is one of them. There's several Dumbledores.
You know
No,
what?
there's one.
Watching Harry
There's
Potter
brothers.
is boring. Talking about it is even more boring.
Yeah.
I've already jumped the shark on this, but
You
I
did.
just want to
Yeah.
throw that out there that
Yeah.
Star Wars and Harry Potter have a lot of similar traits
Yeah.
Well, it's because
Okay.
there's
to the
good
point where I
kid
think
and
she
bad
plagiarized.
Guys.
I think that's crazy.
It's good guys and no, I don't think so. Anyway,
So what
You
do
know
you
what?
So what do you think the 8 shows brought in on how many millions of dollars on those 7 movies? 8 movies.
Man,
billions. She's
I-
the
I
richest woman
wonder-
in England.
I wonder.
I think even richer than the royal family.
between the Harry Potter movies and the Star Wars movies.
Well, Star
Which
Wars, we
ones
know
made
is huge.
more? I mean, I think Star Wars made more as far as an industry because there's a lot of toys involved and there's a lot of
I don't know.
they've been around a long time, so they've got everything, a lot of products. But as far as the movie and how much money it's generated, I would say that Harry Potter's probably made more money.
And Star Wars?
Yeah,
the movies?
absolutely.
I would agree.
And I think part of it has to do with the fact that Star Wars started in 1976. And
Well,
back-
if you adjust for inflation all that shit, it may catch up.
yeah,
Well,
but
you
that's
also
not
have
the
to
reality
consider
of it.
that a bunch of Star Wars movies are really not that good.
But the bottom
Yeah,
line
there's
is
a
when you
couple
make
that are
8
tank.
movies, you're making money on them. You don't make this 3rd one or 4th one or 5th one normally.
Well, that's true, and you're right
They don't
about
make
the
money on the later ones. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying,
Yeah, a
you
lot
don't
of
keep
times.
making movies unless you can make money with
Oh,
them.
of course. Yeah.
So
Every
Star
single
Wars
one of
jumped
them made
around
movies.
so much. Star Wars started with what number in '76? Number 6 or 7?
yeah, it was number 5.
Number 5. Okay, I
But
don't remember that number.
You didn't know that, back
Yeah,
then it
and
was
there-
Star Wars, and it was like the number 1. Then they had
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, and then
Well, what are you
Return.
saying is number 5? What is
Well,
That's where it
technically,
started.
it's
4,
it's,
5, and
episode
6.
4?
It's Star Wars. I think is episode 5.
4.
No, 4.
Is it 4?
New
Oh,
Hope.
whatever.
New Hope
Four.
is 4. I thought you were a Star Wars.
He claims to be.
What do you
I
call that?
doubt it.
I am
He's a
not.
Star Wars sommelier.
Yeah,
He's a Star
sommelier.
Trek guy.
He's a.
He's a Trekkie.
But
I am a Trekkie. I'm more
I
of a
always
Trekkie
thought
than
Star
No.
Wars
Well,
was
I like 'em
number
both.
5.
I like them
No,
both.
it's
So
4.
maybe Empire Strikes Back is number 5.
It is.
Is
It
that what it
is.
is? All right, well, whatever.
Return of the Jedi is 6,
All right, so they have
and then
so
they go
many.
back in time to 1, 2, and 3, which were all awful except for actually
Man,
the
let's
second
see.
one.
I disagree. I think that they all did their part telling stories. For example, like Solo, the movie that came out, which was the story about Han Solo.
Solo's one thing, but Phantom Menace was terrible.
Phantom Menace was
With
terrible.
Jar Jar Binks
If
and
they,
that stupid
if they
kid.
I
didn't
liked
have,
it.
first off,
Sorry.
if they didn't have the pod race,
That was terrible.
it would have been the
Yeah, the
worst
pod
movie
race
of all
was
time.
good.
No, I liked it. I liked all of it.
Terrible acting.
Terrible.
You know,
terrible
they, were-
writing.
terrible.
they had the pillars that they were tied to, and that prehistoric.
Okay.
Uh,
the,
Well, that
the-
doesn't make it a good movie.
Yeah, they're
anteater-
talking about the scene where
where they were in the
what,
planet,
yeah, what you call the Roman, not
the
Velodrome.
Colosseum.
Coliseum.
Yeah, the Roman Colosseum thing where they're tied up and they're about to be killed or whatever.
That's in the second one, I believe.
Whatever. You know,
Is
here's
it?
the thing.
Oh,
I
never mind.
enjoyed every single Star Wars that came out, and I
Darth,
also
Darth
enjoyed
Maul was a good in
every
the
single
first one.
Harry Potter.
He was.
You know,
good.
I don't want to dog any of them. So
Plus,
I think he had a lot of great lines, Darth Maul.
plus,
He
a
did.
lot of them
He
were,
did talk.
a lot of them were introduced at Christmas time. We're talking about Christmas thing right
yeah.
now.
Well,
Yeah, that's one thing that
True.
Brandon, because his birthday is middle of December, and every year. Oh my God, that's a waste.
Did you have a stroke? What happened over here?
now my bourbon, which we haven't discussed yet, was sitting on somewhere nice, kind of precariously, and all of a sudden it toppled, and
You just
I
wasted it.
caught it, and it was like maybe not even an ounce came
It's a
out.
This is another reason why we don't do video. That was not a graceful exchange.
Yeah, but I saved it.
Yeah, but it wasn't graceful.
But you lost half of it.
No.
Yeah.
Look. It's still buried in the cube. See?
Anyway,
No.
where were we? What were we talking
It
about? We were
smells
talking
wonderful.
about Christmas.
I don't know.
This is a wheat. This
Oh,
is
we're talking about the bourbon now.
Yeah, let's talk
Well,
about
you
the
know, we
bourbon.
might as well jump here.
We moved on.
So this, our bourbon starting off today was we sometimes get burnout going to Total Wine, and so every now and then we need a little change up. And the last one we went to was a great change up because where did we go? What was it called?
Go Liquor King.
Liquor King.
We went to Liquor King.
Well, the thing is, there's different selection at different places because they have partnerships with different distributors, I would imagine. So in
different
our
buyers.
area,
And
Well,
their
it's different-
customer base too
Well, it's
makes a
different
difference.
buyers.
right? And so in our area, the big ones are Total Wine, Specs, Liquor King. I don't know if it's a big one, but it's a great one.
Yeah,
It's a great find.
Goody Goody's the other one.
Goody Goody, that's another
Yeah.
one.
So anyways, they
anyway,
had different selections there, and we noticed that we had tried the Penelope that had the 4 grain
It's good.
of the bourbons, and we actually really enjoyed that.
Right.
We did.
And they had the William Dalton. They had 2 of them. They had the wheated bourbon, and then they had the 4 grain.
I think
Last
the 4
week we
grain is.
tasted
I think
grain.
the 4 grain is called Lee Sinclair.
Yeah, it's got a different name. It's the same distiller.
It's the French Lick distiller, right? But each one has its own different name.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our 3rd one of this place.
Cheapskate.
Yeah, well, it's good.
It's good.
And this
All
is
right.
good too.
It
So
packs
this
a
is
punch.
light.
Packs a punch. It's got a 107.
It's 107, as far as the
107.4.
proof goes, and it's a traditional wheated bourbon. So for those folks out there that want to kind of shove this into a category as far as what is a wheated bourbon, Maker's Mark is 71% corn. This one is 76% corn,
It's up there.
75%.
So it's got the mash bill on the front label, which is very rare. That is 78% corn.
78. So
28% wheat and 18% malt. So
That math does not add up.
whatever.
well, it says the mash bill is 178%.
Okay, there it does.
So it does add up. It does. I'm kidding. It should be 100. If it isn't 100, somebody really fucked up.
Yeah, 78 and 28, and then another.
Well, maybe I just can't read.
That could be.
Anyway, so let's remind our listeners what's a regular bourbon versus a wheated bourbon.
Well,
What is replaced
Well, the rye. The rye is typically replaced with wheat.
with wheat?
yeah,
All right.
And-
There are
and
some
typic-
people who don't favor rye.
yeah.
Correct.
I don't. I like them both, but I prefer wheat simply because my taste buds perceive wheat to be smoother.
Grassy.
Well,
It
it's
can
got a little
be.
tasty,
If you
but
get too much wheat in there,
It's
it
like
can.
you're munching on.
well, if you get
You're
too
in a
much,
field munching on
well, they had the
alfalfa.
Oregon Spirits, which is
That's a wheat whiskey.
Oh, good lord!
That's not even a bourbon.
That was that
While
was
you
like
guys were complaining about it, I was like, I'm drinking life cereal and getting drunk doing
that
it.
was a different one.
yeah, that's very
I
doughy.
loved it.
All right,
Alan,
all right, all
Alan,
right.
so you've never been? Have you ever been you're a rum drinker, right? So you didn't partake in the tasting of the bourbon tonight, which is totally cool. But were you ever a bourbon drinker? Ever?
No.
Never.
Always rum, or do you
No.
start?
Oh no, I had a lot of crazy things. Go back to Seagram 7.
That's a whiskey, isn't it?
I drank whiskey. I drank vodka. I drank
Vodka?
Vodka.
I can't imagine that you haven't tried everything on the planet, given some of your upbringing.
Gin. I drank gin the longest.
Ooh,
Before I got into rum, I drank gin.
we haven't gotten to the gins yet.
You gotta,
So
you gotta
he's got
really
a-
like gin.
Alan has a very storied history when it comes to bars.
Well, I was raised behind one.
Literally.
Literally raised
Literally.
behind a bar.
No?
The only place from my living room to the stock room where we kept all the beer and the liquor and everything in was 10 feet.
Right.
So you went from there. Well, no, actually, with the living room, you opened one door and then there was the storage room to go into the bar.
Right. So your parents owned and
It was
ran
actually my grandparents.
a bar in Pueblo.
That's correct. 33 years they were there.
In Colorado.
Pueblo, Colorado. Yes,
Pueb-
sir.
Pueblo.
Pueblo, Colorado. Yeah.
Isn't that where the PSAs come from?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
What does that mean? The what? What'd you say?
U.S. Postal Service you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the PSAs. They'd always say PSA from Pueblo, Colorado.
Yeah, well, it's the big.
Pueblo.
They have the big post office. Got the big place where the big distribution center for everything that comes in there and goes out.
Distributing and sending it out on trucks and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, but so the bar. So you grew up literally. Your grandparents owned the bar. Your parents then took it over.
My mother
You were a
worked,
little
my mother
kid
worked
and
there
you were
basically.
You were working the bar.
Yeah,
I mean, not a
old-
bartender.
How like 5 years old, 10 years old,
9.
9? So at 9, that's old enough where you could start doing things, stocking, playing pool.
No, if you
You know.
well,
There
well,
you go.
that's when I started. When I started playing pool, I used to have to stand on a chair.
Yeah, that's insane. And you know what? That's not only insane; it's unfair. It's unfair for the rest of us who try to compete with you because,
that's right.
Why? Because you want to stand on a chair too?
well, no, because, well, maybe it might help my game.
I
gotta have to give that some thought.
But
Yeah.
if you try to do that with a 9-year-old kid today, they call social
They
services on
probably
you.
would.
Yeah. Well,
Especially because you were doing shots of something.
Well, I think if it's a family business, you're able to get your kids to work it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, back then they didn't even.
Back then things were different.
Things were different. They didn't even bat an eye at that. There wasn't anybody that was going to turn your parents in.
I'll tell you what. There's nothing nastier than a beer, and everybody smoked back then.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everybody smoked, especially at a bar. So you had a drink in one hand and a cigarette in the other.
Oh yeah.
And when you get beer in an ashtray with ashes,
with a cigarette floating in it.
There's nothing smells worse than that. I just gotta tell you.
Oh.
And it's
I
probably
used to
beer.
clean the bathrooms, and that was just as bad as the bathroom.
Well, people throwing up every night and whatever.
Well,
They did. I'll tell you what. People are nasty. You'd be surprised what people do in a bathroom. You'd be
They
surprised
shit.
in a bar in a
They
bathroom.
shit in it.
They
there's,
shit, pee.
there's a
and
lot of things.
They probably do other stuff too.
The sink wasn't someplace where you just washed your hands. And,
Oh, that's nasty.
Oh, that's where you clean the pipes.
oh God, it's terrible.
What do you mean clean the? What are you
They
saying?
drop your junk in it and just
Drop
like
your junk in it.
get a froth going.
Good Lord.
You clean your pipes in a sink.
Yeah. So whip up a batch
What,
of frothy
you
pudding.
latch the door and people are like, dun, 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 oh, I'm taking a shit here.
Sorry, give me just a second. I'm staring at myself.
But I had to do that every morning before I went to school. Every
Oh,
morning.
Go to the
dude,
bathroom and
think about
whack
that.
one?
Guys, think about
Clean
that.
the bar up.
Oh,
Before I went
clean.
to school.
What were you doing when you were 9 years old? Before school?
I don't know. I lived in Germany at the
Before
time.
school, I was sleeping.
No shit. That's insane.
Well, again,
And then how long
that was
did-
in the
Sorry, okay.
that was in the late 50s, right?
Yeah, when was that?
Or mid 50s.
At 10 years old, I've been 1959.
So,
So-
1958.
That it's not
You're working at the bar.
acceptable, but it
Insane.
kind of quasi is. I mean, you can get away with it back then.
Yeah.
You know, so you went to your parents. Did they pass away, or what was the process of you moving in with your grandparents?
No, my parents lived there too.
Okay, so it was a whole family thing.
There was actually in this small place, which wasn't any bigger than this whole area right here.
Where you were all
I
sleeping.
had my grandma, and grandpa, my mom and dad, 2 sisters, a brother, an uncle, and an aunt, and me. So that was 8 of us.
Are you counting your fingers?
Oh yeah, I'm counting on my fingers. Yeah. That's
So
kinda-
I mean, that's pretty tight. So where'd you have like your gaming system and your Xbox and stuff like
Your
that?
media room. Where
They
was
didn't
your
have
media
that.
Yeah,
room?
where was your media room?
They had a rubber ball and some jacks, maybe some dominoes.
Actually, they had a round circle with a stick.
might even had dominoes.
Ran down the street.
No, what we had was where you hold hands and skip, and the other thing was where you chalk, where you did hopscotch.
Oh, hopscotch.
Oh, yeah.
For real,
Yeah,
you
that's
guys did
right.
that?
Oh yeah.
I used to play
yeah.
hopscotch.
Hold
What?
on.
What? So what?
Did you
what
say
other
hold
games?
your hands and skip? Is that a thing? So if I were to be like, hey, Paul, Jeff, come over here. I want
Chill.
you guys to hold hands. I want you to skip down the road
Okay,
and see
well,
how
first off,
far
you
you
don't
can
have to
get.
sound
That's
like you're
funny,
from
but
New Jersey.
I did that to one of my
You
golfing
can say
buddies.
it normally.
He was giving me a hard time, and I said, "But you want to hold hands and skip?" And he goes, "If you know how to skip, I'll do it." I said, "I can still skip."
God.
Okay, that's the fastest way to break a hip right there. All right, so seriously, did you have time to play games as a kid? I mean, were you always working the bar, or
The only thing I did every day is I shot baskets all day.
okay, you
from
were a
the time I got
basketball
home.
Did you
psychotic.
play for your school?
I played. I did up through junior high. When I got into high school, I went. You guys call that today where you go where you have where people travel and they play the same sport. What do you call that here?
A
when you're-
league?
Is
Travel team.
Well,
I mean-
no, but it's like an elite team or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, select basketball.
Select. There you
select,
go.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
So I didn't play for the high school after my soft freshman year. Freshman year, I think I can't remember. It's been a long time ago, but I played for the select team through the rest of my high school.
Was it like a city team?
So
Yeah,
the
we played at the
Pueblo-
Armory. We
Pueblo
played at
select team.
the Armory.
Okay, and you had some
That's where we played.
very talented, large African American teammates on that team. Did you not?
We played
You guys were beast.
at that time Central High School, and we played this. I'm not sure it was the starting lineup, but people on the varsity on a scrimmage game. Of course, after we beat them, they said that they weren't really trying because we weren't part of anything with that, right?
Of course.
Oh, so they weren't
Yeah.
trying. So they had their second string in.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what they claimed because they got beat. Right?
Yeah, we beat them pretty good actually. Yeah, but it was really different. I mean, you do a lot of things differently in that kind of game, in that kind of scenario.
Well,
But
first
yeah,
off, they didn't have a 3-point line,
and
you shot everything past the 3-point line,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
still averaged 27 points a game.
Well, you
Yeah, I
have
did.
to when you're. I mean, Alan, look, you're not 6 foot, so
I'm 5'8".
when you're playing basketball with taller folk,
You got
I
to
mean,
launch it.
You have to play. Those are the guys that
Well,
do
back
shoot
then,
3
back
foot.
in the 50s, did they have the 7-footers?
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
played
Did
against.
they? All right.
I played against a 7-footer.
Oh.
In high school, we had a
Well, I mean,
7-footer.
7-footers are rare anyway, but the point is, these guys are all 6'6", 6'7",
Yeah, they're big
6'10",
boys.
Were they back then, too?
Yeah.
6'9".
So you gotta weasel your way
Wilt
in and
Chamberlain was 7
Well,
foot.
Wilt Chamberlain was.
Right.
And
I
Bill
mean,
Bradley.
and he was a freak of nature, right?
But
so.
what about Oscar Robinson? How tall was he?
Oh, he wasn't very tall.
I
He
say
was 6'3".
6'2". I say 6'2",
Yeah.
6'3".
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
out. That was in the 60s.
Jerry West. How tall was
Same
he?
way, Jerry.
4'10".
4'8"?
I'd say the smallest guy on that Lakers team that you're talking about when you talk about them guys was Gail Goodrich, and I think he was like 6 foot or 6
That's what I mean. I mean, were the basketball teams
They weren't
like
as
they are
tall.
now, where the average size is 6'8",
Correct. No.
right?
Players on average are definitely taller now.
Well, it's just like football.
Taller and bigger, just like football.
Yeah, so it's like football where you see these Super Bowl teams of the 70s, 60s, 80s,
Yes.
where their offensive line, the average weight is 250.
The human body has evolved. No question about it.
Yeah, and the linebackers are bigger than the offensive line of those days.
Right.
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 So my son played football. He was on the offensive line, and he was, I think, when he was at college, he said he was 3'10", 6'5", 310. And Anthony Munoz, who is a Hall of Fame
Hall of Fame.
Cincinnati.
left tackle,
Cincinnati, wasn't it?
yeah, Cincinnati,
Nice.
was 280,
Right.
Wow.
maybe.
Right. That's tiny now.
Yeah, I mean he wouldn't even make the O line at this
Right.
point.
Right. No, I
'Cause
mean,
he's-
like I said, the human body has evolved. No question about it.
Yeah,
And well, the key is they've got that big and they're fast.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
The
It's
speed.
It's ridiculous how fast.
So
these
who
guys
is
are.
there was a I forget his name, a guy that got AIDS.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson. God bless.
Which, by the way, he
Rock
doesn't-
Hudson.
apparently he doesn't have it
No.
anymore.
He was
Basketball
6'9".
That's impossible.
No, it isn't.
6'9" guard.
Well, it's not showing up on.
Well,
on
he
a lot
has
of the
HIV.
tests.
He has HIV.
No. They are saying HIV is not detectable.
Yeah, that's my point. And the reason why he doesn't have it,
Is it
or
just because
it doesn't
it's
show
so
up.
low?
Well, because he constantly has transfusions.
So if he stopped that,
Uh,
it would come back.
I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe it's filtered its way out of the body.
I don't know. So
I'll
if he
tell
has
you what
one
I'll tell you
part,
what they used to do with Magic Johnson. I don't know if you guys knew this, but when he was playing, if somebody went by and with a fingernail and if he started bleeding at any given point,
Right.
they pull him out of the game and have to get the where he completely stopped or cover it up, or else he couldn't play.
yeah, I remember
The
that.
blood, because that's when the
Well,
the
and
blood
is
goes-
this before it came out that he had it? Because once he came out that he had it, it was a big deal.
It
was
was,
a big
but he
scandal.
still played after that.
Yeah, he did.
People were kind of like, "Are you gay? Do you like taking up the poop?"
Oh, he
chute?"
got it from a blood transfusion, didn't he?
And so these are country people that
No,
were
these
saying
are. I don't know where the.
But he was the-
that's the mentality.
He was the first 6'9"
Was Larry
guard that
Bird.
actually played
Yeah.
guard. I mean,
He-
amazing.
He's
Amazing guy.
he's
6'8", right? 6'8" point
and you
guard.
have to be.
I'd say
You
6'9".
have to be
he
pretty
was.
wealthy to afford all those transfusions, and
I'm sure during that same period there were plenty of people who had HIV that couldn't fight it like he did, got AIDS, and died.
Oh,
Well-
of course. Well, he needs to be careful getting get AIDS from transfusions.
Right.
Isn't that how he got it?
No,
How did he get it?
he got AIDS.
Was it from sex? From
Yes.
he was cheating on his
Well-
wife or whatever?
Well, I mean, dude.
Well, there were stories that he slept with 13,000 women. Wilt Chamberlain slept with
Yeah,
over
that's-
20,000
yeah,
women.
I've heard that.
I mean, these guys were sleeping with everybody in every city they went to.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
so
kind of like that song, "Brandy, you're a good wife."
Kind of like.
Yeah, girl at every port, you know.
Well, it's kind of like the.
Oh, so that's about basketball players
Well,
having
dude, look, seriously. Hey, look, I know, based on one of the bars I worked at. Fuck, I don't care. Humperdinck's in Las Colinas.
Yes.
They're closed. They went out of business. Nah, they fucking ripped the building down. They back in the early '90s, they would have. It was kind of a hub. They had a lot of the Dallas Cowboy players that would show up there, And surprisingly, plus the Dallas Stars hockey rink was right around there, the practice area.
Right.
So after the game, they would have these
Bukkake
Dallas
parties?
It wasn't the Dallas Stars. It was the National Hockey League referees and umpires, and they would show up there. And that's where this conversation is. It's not evolving around players. It's evolving around the referees and umpires.
Oh boy.
You know, and this was specifically for the NHL.
This is scandalous, and you're hearing it now.
Man, look,
first on dudes like us. Continue, Sean.
We call Chris Berman.
Oh my
We
God,
need
these
to.
guys were horn dogs. I mean, they were horn dogs, man. They would show up and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm in the NHL. It doesn't really matter." And they would always get the women, and they don't care. They're like, "Oh, so you're at the NHL?" And then dude,
They go home with them
What a
every
line.
night.
to the hotel.
What a line, though. You could go anywhere, to any bar, and say,
Why can't
and they'd
we
be
do
like,
that?
What do you do? Right. And I'll be like, I'm a major league umpire. Well, it's no big deal, but I'm amazing, yes.
Well, you could go in there. You could buy like the big chest pad. just
I'm gonna-
Oh, you
proof.
wear it to the
Yeah,
bar?
you wear it.
no.
Oh, no, that's hot.
I'm
That's hot.
gonna go call my friend
I
Andy
think he's onto
Mood.
something here. I
And
think you
you-
can
and your-
wear
your
the big
clicker?
chest pad. And they
Oh,
come up
this
to
is for
you, they're
the-
like,
the
why are you wearing
baseball?
that chest pad? I'm glad you asked, you fine little lady.
Yeah.
It's because I'm an MLB...
I just came from a game.
No, ma'am, I'm not 7'2". I'm still wearing
But
my
it's February.
ice skates.
All right, so the umpires and the referees slept with everybody.
It's a small microcosm of what is with the
Yes,
whole
the disgustingness
sports
that
thing.
goes on.
Well,
Hold
they have
on, don't
groupies.
pump the brakes. I don't think it's
Groupies.
disgusting. It's all about opportunity.
It's not unlike rock bands. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, they have groupies. I mean, you have
Right.
women
Yes.
that follow around these teams,
Athletes.
or in these different
stars.
cities. As soon as they know what hotel they're sleeping in, the whole shot, they all show up there.
Well, you have this. There's this one groupie who got into getting a cast mold of penises
Oh.
of the rock stars.
And
So
she
she
has them in like a trophy case?
yes, she has like Mick
So
Jagger's.
she like put her mouth like fill it with plaster and then
Yes, that's what it was. She'd go in there with like foam.
hold still.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't move for a second, okay? I'm going to squirt something in my mouth for a second. Go ahead.
No, so she'd get these plaster casts
God.
of all these rock star
You
penises.
said the same thing. I just reworded it.
I know it's horrible.
That is horrible.
Yeah, but you had sound effects
I did.
and
Yeah.
a face that wasn't quite.
Yeah,
That's why we don't do video.
yeah.
Wait a second.
That's exactly
Wait,
why.
So she convinced the people she slept with she put plaster on their junk?
Yeah. Yeah, she was a
Well,
groupie back
I'm
in
going to
that.
call bullshit on this story.
All right,
Mr. Producer, look this up.
Groupie that has cast.
Groupie plaster
I'm
penises.
calling bullshit on this. What
I saw a-
psycho
I
would
saw a
let
documentary.
let
I
a
think
woman
Jeff's
put-
right. I've heard this story.
I saw a documentary. She's old. I mean, it's from like the 70s
She's
and
got-
80s.
She's got like the Rolling Stones. She's got like
She's got Mick Jagger's mold.
she's got a lot. So-
what are we
Cynthia
doing with
Plaster
here?
Caster.
Cynthia the Plaster Caster from.
No way.
All right, Cynthia is an American artist and self-described recovering groupie who gained fame for creating plaster casts of famous persons' erect penises.
That's unbelievable.
Albrighton began her career in '68 by casting penises of rock musicians.
Yeah, there you
Why
go.
don't you
Well,
click
no,
on the
it
old
goes on.
Wikipedia?
Rock musicians and prominent politicians.
All right, let's
i.e.
see if
Joe
we can.
Biden.
No, what?
You didn't read that?
It did not say Joe Biden.
Oh, no,
Scroll
my bad.
down. Scroll
My
down.
bad.
Scroll down.
No, it didn't. It didn't say it.
Scroll down.
No, my bad. It didn't say that.
List of
List
casts.
of casts. Scroll down. Oh my lord.
She's got women.
Those
She's
are
got
all the people?
females. Whoa. Pump the brakes. She's got females.
Females
too.
don't have erect penises, do
Oh,
they?
maybe it's like
Oh,
I guess
wait.
those do.
yeah.
well,
How do you have an erect penis if you're a woman?
you don't. I imagine it's a taco mold.
It's like a clitoris mold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so she got Jimi Hendrix, huh?
Nice.
Noel Reddings.
So are
Um,
these in a museum somewhere?
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to see them.
You wouldn't?
No.
Well, go to
what?
the images and see if they have images of these things.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
not
what,
going
if, what if they have a male section and a female section? Would you want to go see the female mold?
Would you want to go play with them and see if they fit?
The female mold?
So go back
Is
and
that an
look at
option?
the images.
Is
I
that
want to
the
see
interactive center?
what
That's
this
like the
thing looks
Epcot.
like.
Yeah.
That's Epcot where you can play with the.
Look how
There's
sick.
one right there. Oh, my
that is
God.
ridiculous!
What the hell?
is
That one looks like a freaking elephant trunk. It's like bent and
Who is
45
that?
degrees.
Is that Wilt
Steelers
Chamberlain?
don't look very erect.
No,
Yeah.
some of them don't.
Well, that's what happens
She was not
when
very
you're.
good at what she did. Apparently,
When
No.
you cover them in plaster.
it starts to go down after it's surrounded with plaster. Okay, this is a gross story, and I am sorry you ever brought it up.
Yeah.
How do you know how we got into that?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oh,
See, Alan, you
Sean
see how
was
this
talking-
happens?
The
Sean-
backstage.
So if we gave you a topic
Backstage
list
queen.
tonight, which we didn't, do you think this would have been on the topic list?
Plastered
Plastered
penises.
Cynthia
No,
Plastic
I don't
Caster?
think so. No.
All right, we got to move on. All right. So we
Oh, goodness. How do we move on from
what's
that?
our segue?
Cock rings.
All right. So, anyways, we're talking about the bar experience, and
Yes.
you growing up in the bar, and so when did you leave? You joined the military at some point. You were going to school, and you joined the military as an option.
Oh, there's a lot in between that period.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, so you went to high school, but you were playing a lot of basketball. So I imagine you were on the road a lot, right?
Oh, just in the inner city, moving around. We didn't.
Oh, so you weren't like out of state or anything. It was just inner city select.
Yeah.
And so you played a lot of basketball and played with a lot of big guys, and you could hold your own, and you lots of confidence. But you had shared some stories about. God bless, what was it? He was selling something out of a car.
Yeah, I think it was school books.
Yeah, school.
Were
Was
you
it
selling
school
school
books?
books out of
Yeah,
a
it was
car?
educational material.
Like
Oh, see,
encyclopedias?
for underprivileged children.
That's right.
Such a great story.
Yeah, it was.
Is that right, Alan? Is
That's
that-
exactly right. Yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah it was.
They were playboys.
I've been.
There happened to be gin too. I don't know why there would be gin and bourbon and rum.
Hustlers?
And did you sell magazines or was it just alcohol?
No, it was all alcohol, all liquor,
Out of
not
a
even
trunk,
beer. We didn't sell beer. We sold.
Well, I mean,
out of your trunk, across the street from the high school,
Alan was
It was like a
he-
food truck.
he was an entrepreneur.
like a food truck. Alan, walk us through that. What
it-
led you to being the largest Midwest distributor?
Well, look, he grew up in a bar. He's selling people stuff all the time. So at some point, he's kind of like, well, hey, look, if I give this person something, they're going to buy it, and I'm going to get cash for it.
Oh,
But the only-
well, here's how it starts.
All right,
you
go.
have you have 16-year-old kids, right? I was 16, 15, 16 years old, 17. Well, I was getting that when I was 17, and you have all these woodsies every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We have these woodsies. And so all the kids are all looking for liquor to take to the woodsy.
What'd you say?
What's a woodsy?
That's where you,
Woodsy.
That's what they made casts of.
yeah, that's what we called it back then. That's where you go down to the river in the woods by the
Oh, a party in the
by river.
woods.
Huh?
A party in the woods kind of
Yeah,
a thing, right?
pretty much.
and you called it a woodsy.
They called it a woodsy, and it was
I've never heard you
it
use
had
that
it had
term.
a lake.
Okay.
It had like a lake or a
that'd be
river.
nice.
river.
Yeah,
It was
build
a
a
lake, it was
fire.
river.
I'd
Build
go.
a fire and drink some beer and whatever else
Yeah, so
they bought.
Skinny
so
dip.
they're all looking for liquor.
Yes.
All looking for
Booze.
something to take down there, and they would pay anything to get it because they got a one-shot deal.
So where did you get the liquor?
So
Did you steal that from the bar?
no.
No.
So what
you're
we
not
had-
that dumb.
What we had was is that I had my best friend, this guy named Mike Weber,
Uh-oh.
and his dad was a super alcoholic. I mean, this man didn't work. I mean, he drank half gallons of, I don't know what the hell it was. It was
Kerosene.
nasty.
Old crow.
And I remember it cost like $1 a half gallon or something. It was nasty. So, and he didn't work. He used to be a bar back or that kind of, or do dishes and all that kind of stuff, and very, very poor side. So anyway, so all we did with him was say, listen, we'll buy your liquor for you if you go buy liquor for us.
Right. So he
So-
gets free. So he gets a free half gallon.
So he'd go to the liquor store. We give him orders. I got orders way before the weekend came.
Oh, you
Wow.
knew what sold. You're an entrepreneur. You knew what
And
sold. You knew
I'll
what
tell you
you
the
needed
neatest
in
thing about
inventory.
it. I had a 1960 Cadillac. If
Nice.
you ever seen a 1960 Cadillac, it's got a trunk the size of this table right here. So for the listeners here, I mean, it was like 5 feet across
Massive.
and 4 feet deep. I mean, that's an exaggeration,
Yeah, you
but
can
still,
put
it
12
was.
bodies in there.
And then we put styrofoam
Like
in there
Goodfellas.
and built so you could lay the bottles in there so they wouldn't break.
Nice.
There you go, just like that.
Is that it? Is that literally it?
Ooh, do you have the fins on
That's
it and
it.
everything?
And
Was it a
and
convertible?
mine was blue. We call it the blue whale.
Well, there's a blue one right there. Is
That's
that
it.
exactly the car, Alan?
That thing, yeah, except for the tires. Well, that's not quite. I don't think. Yeah, that's
Are you sure it's 1960 Cadillac?
yeah. So, but it was like a 4-door. I thought
Okay, not the
2-door.
coupe.
No, it was 2-door.
That's the
two-door.
Coupe de Ville right there.
Yeah, that's not a Coupe de Ville. It wasn't a Coupe de Ville.
There's different models of Cadillac.
If I would
Such
kept
a
looking at
badass
it,
car. I'm jealous that you grew up in that era because those cars are awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, massive trunk. You knew exactly how to stack the merchandise so that it didn't get damaged. And what'd you do? There was an empty lot across from the. I mean, where'd you?
No, I was right on the corner, right at caddy corner from where the school property was.
Wow.
They could actually see me from the 3rd floor over there. I'm sure.
Dude, you're a ballsy mofo.
I have no idea why I never got caught. I swear to
seriously.
God, to this day, I think about how stupid were you? You know.
Or maybe not. Maybe the fact that you were right out in the open was the best thing.
Yeah, they're like,
hiding
no
in-
one could be that ballsy.
Hiding
In a
in
1960 Cadillac.
Nice.
I mean, that's ballsy.
Yeah.
hiding in plain sight, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'd sell that. I used to carry rolls of money like this. Plus, we had our liquor, right?
Yeah.
But
you were like the first Jimmy the Fish. Hey, how you doing? What'd you,
back then,
Scotty,
if I remember correctly,
want
like
to buy an S?
Jim Beam and Sunnybrook were the two big bourbons you guys were talking about, right?
Sunnybrook.
Sunnybrook.
Sunnybrook was the big one, and so we could buy it for like $5.
And that was a cheap. Those are cheap, like bourbons.
No,
and
teenagers,
I'd sell
that's
it.
all you
I'd
need.
sell it for
Look
$10.
that up. Sunnybrook.
Sell it for $10 on Thursdays and Fridays. No, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then it went up to $15 or $20 on.
Oh, the closer it got to the weekend.
When they had
Oh,
to
you
have it,
stuck it to
when
them.
they had to have it, I just charged them more money.
Yeah, you knew they were desperate.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So plus, I only had so much to sell.
You bank all that money, or what'd you do?
Oh
There
no,
it
we
is.
blew
Is that it right there?
You partied?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't.
That's
even-
like the original Kentucky Deluxe.
The old Sunnybrook. Is that a picture of it right there?
That's it.
So you
That's it.
so you didn't stockpile any of that money. You just burned through it like a regular teenager.
Oh yeah, we just spent money.
Bought
A
X-
lot
What'd
of
you
it.
buy on?
A
A lot of it.
What'd you
Xbox.
spend it on?
Xbox.
Clothes?
Yeah, what'd you do with all that money? You were a big spender then.
Whose Cadillac was it?
Mine.
So
You paid
how'd you-
cash for it.
You bought it in
pay
cash,
cash?
baby. Bought it in cash.
Yeah, $500.
Are you kidding
Brand
me?
new?
No. No.
Okay, I was going to say.
No, it's
there's
10
no
years
way.
old. No, not even 10 years old. 7 years old.
Oh, I see. Right, okay.
I think it was $500.
How much was a brand new Cadillac in 1960?
Probably $2,500.
Yeah, probably 3
Really?
grand.
That's it?
$3,000 maybe.
What? Are you kidding me?
God.
You could get a GTO back then. A GTO with the big engine. I forget the engine model number because I'm not a big car guy, but with that big, it was a 8 cylinder.
Yeah, the 390, 350, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
Yeah, that's probably was.
Right.
And you could get that for like $3,000. Find out what the number.
How much? So, how much was a movie? How much did you
Shopping.
pay for in a movie theater ticket? Was it
Shopping.
like a dime, a quarter?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah. I mean, you took your girl to the movies.
No.
You never took your girl to the movies.
No.
What the hell? You
Did she
had a
take you?
girlfriend.
We took him to the river.
Oh.
to the woodsy.
That's where it
To
came
the
from.
woodsy with the.
In a van down by the river.
Yes,
You
sir.
talking about spending
in
money.
a Cadillac.
We used to have a lot of parties because we had all the liquor and stuff, and everybody come over and have parties and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That's where it
Oh,
started.
there you go. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that Trans Am.
The Pontiac
$4,300
Firebird Trans Am,
Still around?
1969. One of the coolest
cost.
We
cars.
gotta buy it now.
$4,366 back then.
Sunnybrook still exists at Specs. We're gonna buy it,
Are you
and
kidding
we're
me?
gonna try it on the next podcast.
$8.62.
But Jeff, I get to buy it this time.
Is it really?
$8.
I get to buy it this time
get to
because
buy
that's
it.
usually what you spend.
That $12. I usually spend. I did that once because I wanted to get that to force you
So,
to drink
Alan,
it.
just to give you a little background, so every Friday, right? We go. I told you this. We go to the alcohol store.
Oh, I met you there once.
Yes,
Yeah. I met
and we
these
buy
guys there.
and we buy bourbons for the podcast. And I'm looking at the $90, probably $110 bourbons,
Bullshit.
right? And then Jeff's yanking stuff off the shelf at $13.99,
No, that's Evan,
$9.99.
Evan Williams white label.
$9.99. Sometimes he ventures into the
Hey,
$21.99.
It was $12.99 for that.
Seriously, bro.
And I got that because that is your demon bourbon right there.
Well, we're not talking about demon bourbon, and I didn't drink any of that.
I'll tell
Actually,
you what you can do. You can take that shot of Sunnybrook,
Okay.
and Walter's beer, because we had Walter's Distillery in Pueblo at that time.
All right. So we have a tonic here.
75 cents. 50 cents for the shot and 25 cents for the beer. And the beer was like
Gigantic.
around it was like
16-ounce tanker. Like a little,
16 ounces maybe, something like that. Yeah.
Pint or something.
75 cents.
Wow.
Yeah. Today that's $28.
Unless you're at the football game.
Shit, I remember in
then it's $50. Right?
No
1988,
Right?
I was working a bar in El Paso, and beers were $1.75.
Well, when I was
clearly.
going to college
Yeah.
in '88 time frame, you get a pitcher for
Yeah.
$2 to $4, depending on
Yeah, we had
how much you
$1.75
wanted
pitchers.
to splurge.
We had $1.75 pitchers. Yeah,
Jean
we did.
Cruz.
It's crazy
Yeah.
how everything
Sean
just
Cruz.
went so fast, so high. Yeah.
Yeah, now a pitcher is like
$12 pitchers.
yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
fucking
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
It
They're
is
small
ridiculous.
pitchers.
$20.
And nothing's different in how they make it and how they bottle it and how they.
Well, I mean, it's all about
What's
back
different,
then.
right?
It was about getting people in the door, butts in the door, getting popularity.
Well, it's
you know,
also where you're
it's
at.
kind of their campaign. Yeah, if
We're
you're
here in the
college-
Dallas area. We went to Stephen F. Austin, and we were buying pitchers of Jack and Coke for $5. A pitcher.
That's what I
You and
said.
Sean?
Yeah.
Yes.
I went to the
What?
bar and there was like
Well-
$5 anything pictures,
hold
and I
on.
was like, anything?
Where
And-
was I?
You're a tier one of it.
yeah, you were tier one.
Oh,
So,
you know what? That is your. I wasn't invited.
whatever.
Don't give me this tier
So
one
we
shit.
go up to the bar. They're
You
like,
went
she
there
was
and
like, I said, anything? She was like, anything. It's like, I get a Jack and Coke in a pitcher? She was like, if you can find a pitcher, you can have a Jack and Coke in that pitcher.
Did
So
you
it's
start
like,
crying?
So I do.
That's a whole like 750 milliliter bottle.
Yes.
Did you throw
Pretty
up?
much.
Oh
No.
my God, that'd have been amazing.
No, she put like half a bottle in one.
They're losing money.
Well, I don't care. I went over there and I scanned the bar and I saw an empty pitcher.
Two of them.
And I did it with two. I
Two
don't know.
of
I was
them.
probably drunk before then.
What does that mean? If you can find a pitcher.
They only have so many pitchers.
And everyone was drinking that night. It was college town.
Well,
So
yeah,
all the college kids were buying their pitchers of booze.
they call that binge drinking, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
we had any coin drinks. We would grab a handful of coins on the way out, literally just
Yeah.
dip our hand into the coin jar, and we got shit faced on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
Well,
Sean threw some people on the ground getting those two empty pictures.
It was about being confident.
They
He's like,
And-
those are mine.
You know,
So they-
that's all it was, really. I walked over there
I mean,
and
so,
you
they
saw
literally,
them-
so they literally made it like 50-50. They poured
dude, they
Jack
filled
Daniels.
it with ice.
Did you watch them do this?
Yes, they filled it with ice. They took a bottle and how they spin the bottle so
Yes.
that it pours better.
Yes.
And they were like, it was like, and it came out about half a bottle.
Oh my God.
And then she was like, Coke to top it off, and I was like, I had like tears
I
running
was
down
gonna
my
say,
face.
were you tearing up? Were you guys hugging each other and stuff?
He had a pitcher.
in a non-weird way, which I would
Yeah,
understand.
he had a
Dude, I come
pitcher
back to
and
the-
I had a pitcher.
I came back to the table. I was like, here you go, Jeff.
Are they still doing this?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, when we going? What the hell?
Yeah.
All right. So on the
So is that
check
the
this
bar,
out.
the Basin
Oh,
Lakeview bar?
Yes, it is.
Is that where you did it in New Orleans?
All right. So Alan has asked Mr. Producer to pull up the bar that he grew up in. Really,
All right, so
And
we're
this is
looking for
Lakewood-
Lakeview
Lakewood?
in Pueblo, Colorado.
Lakeview Bar, Pueblo,
It's-
Colorado.
The address is 2330 Lake Avenue.
All right.
Wow, look at that. He knows the address and everything.
No pictures, I guess, though.
No pictures. Okay.
Well, where do you want?
We
you on-
went in there,
You got
Alan.
Apple Maps.
We went in there. Remember?
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
you
I
wanna
there
go to
every time I
Google
to
Maps.
Pueblo.
Every time we Pueblo, you stop in there and reminisce.
I still got my Bacardi and Diet
That's
Coke in there for
DuckDuckGo.
$4
That's the
when
reason
I
why.
went there last.
So
You go
tell
Google.
the story about the tragic story of what they did in that bar. Like, what was there that they removed?
Was it a gay bar?
The bar.
Yeah, talk about it.
They
had a-
they took out the bar, the old bar.
Oh,
The
check this.
wooden redwood
Mahogany?
curved, beautiful bar, and the photographs was all hand paintings in
Yeah,
the back, all across the
Oh, like
top, and the
the
bar and the
classic
whole works, and just got rid
mosaic stuff.
It was a big hardwood bar.
of it. Oh yeah,
Like,
all made out of like redwood, cherry wood. something like
Producer,
that.
you're still on DuckDuckGo. You got to go to Google.com.
no, DuckDuckGo's good.
Yeah, but Google is more efficient when it comes to some of these pictures.
Yeah, but Google like only shows you what they want to.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
Anyway, I
unfortunately,
used to think this. The reason I wanted to see a picture, show you guys a picture of it, we
Right.
thought this place was absolutely huge, right?
Tiny.
And then when you take 8 people live in this thing where we work, and then the bar was the biggest part of the whole building because everything was
And
all
the
in
bar
one,
is
right?
not
Right.
big.
Yeah, it was just
The bar's
so
tiny.
you've been there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We've been there. The bar's tiny.
yeah. And
It's
I used to think that was the tough. I used to have to wax it every Saturday morning because all hardwood floors, wooden floors.
Was
I
it an
used to have
electric
to wax it every Saturday morning.
Was it an electric buffer?
There it is. There's some pictures
Yeah.
right there.
So that's
Lakewood Bar, Pueblo.
a little Pabst
Is
Blue
that
Ribbon.
it? That's not it. It's a square bar. It's not a long, skinny bar. It's a square bar.
There's
That
a
is-
pool table.
That doesn't look right.
Open that up, please.
All right, hold on. We're looking at pictures here. We're trying to find this iconic bar in Pueblo. Lakeview Bar.
It's still there.
Oh, it is still there.
Yeah.
It's got an all white outer deal with blue lettering.
Well, it's a classic Colorado Pueblo kind of.
Adobe building.
Yeah,
type
it's
of
an
thing.
Adobe building.
Is it really? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's not Adobe. They call that.
Stucco.
Yeah,
Stucco.
stucco.
Stucco,
or,
that's
what it is,
it's- I guess the
It's
newer
stucco.
stuff is
Okay.
called EFIS.
All right. So switch to the satellite picture. Let's take a look at this.
So anyway, so it's an older bar.
There it is. Now,
and
there's your view right there.
They that's actually a pretty big bar. I mean,
It does look like a big bar. It fills the whole corner.
Yeah,
See, look at that car. You see the car? It's not that big.
You have anti-bevs.
And the part that goes to the right is where they lived.
Yeah, the barbers went to here.
Right.
oh, what a trip!
That is a trip, man.
Yeah, so you live right there.
I told you it's right next. I mean, there was only
Yeah.
a door between there where they stored the beer and everything.
Nah,
in our
So
living
did you
room.
ever? Did you drink as a kid?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, your parents were. I mean, I'm sure they didn't condone it, but was there a certain allowance of drinking? They were, were they in there drinking too and having fun?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a business. It's a family business, and
right.
unfortunately, when you own a bar, part of owning a bar is to build your clientele, and to build clientele, you got to
you
have
want regulars.
relationships.
You want regulars.
So you gotta have a rapport with them, and
and your mother was a genius at that.
Yeah, she was really good. She worked there the whole time, the whole 33 years they were there. And the key there is that, and I have to tell you a real quick story, is that back then all the bars had to close at 8:00 on Sunday night. So at 8:00 on Sunday night, we used to go in there. That's when I get to clean it up and I have to worry about getting up on Monday morning at 6:00 in the morning before I went to school.
Nice. You had time.
So we do all that, but it's where I learned how to dance. My mother had put on the jukebox, and she taught me how to dance. Every Sunday we danced to something different in there.
Oh, how cool!
Because they owned the jukebox, so she'd play all the different music, right?
like swing or
I always remember that. Yeah, swing music was really big then.
big, yeah.
Rap.
No rap.
The beginning of rap. LL Cool J.
Hello, Cool J.
no, I think that it was
Anyway.
the Sugar Gang.
Some NWA.
What did you listen to back then? Motown.
I grew up on all R&B music.
R&B music, which is what?
Except,
Temptation.
except, believe it or not, that bar was country.
It was a country bar.
It was country.
Wow.
So, and who would
there's
be
a-
the biggest name back then?
probably Johnny Cash?
Like
Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
Yeah, this like old school. There's a tear in my beer, and I'm crying for you.
Hank
dear.
Williams.
No.
The
Yeah,
original
Hank
Hank
Williams
Williams.
Sr.
No. Think way back.
Not the junior.
Well, the
Hank Williams.
Senior is pretty way back.
That's pretty
who's
back.
Roy
That's
the
pretty
Hee
back.
Haw guy?
Is it?
Roy.
Roy Orbison,
Roy Williams?
Roy Rogers.
No. Well, he was on Hee Haw. The guy he's a really good guitar player. Actually, his name was Roy something or other.
Yeah, I know who you're
You
talking
tell
about.
us who were some of the big artists, country artists that played there. I mean, you're not a big country fan, but you heard it in the
Loretta
bar.
Lynn.
Is that that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I didn't pay much attention. I never cared for that kind of
No,
music
you
for some
didn't.
reason. And then the other music that was going on at that time, reason I ended up going to R&B so much was the other part was like Janis Joplin and all that type of
Oh, yeah,
music.
the
And
hippie
that stuff,
Flower
Psychedelic
Pile.
shit.
that stuff was crazy to me. I mean,
Yeah,
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
yeah, it kind of turned a corner with some of that. You really got to get into that. A lot of those guys were like doing acid, just smoking too much. reefer.
LSD was the
But,
big
you
thing
know-
then. LSD.
LSD.
But the
Okay.
thing is, if you're not doing outside of LSD, which is way, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if they had mushrooms back then, but the reefer they had back then was called reefer for a reason. I mean, it was just,
What's that mean?
It's pot. So,
Reefer.
but
Okay.
the pot back then wasn't as potent as the pot they have nowadays. The pot they have nowadays is like,
Can be really dangerous.
well, it's just stronger. Is
Right.
my point.
Well,
So you could sit there and smoke a whole doobie, and you'd be like, "Yeah,
You'd be chill.
I'm just chilling."
well,
Right.
they've crossbred and everything, so now it's
They're-
GMOs, right?
Yeah, well, they have
Hybrid.
hydroponics and all kinds of things, and it's just.
It's Roy Clark.
Oh, there it
Did
is.
they-
I was.
Did you ever have patrons smoke marijuana in the bar? Was that ever allowed?
I don't ever remember that now.
No. I was going to say your mom probably kicked them out if that was the case. She was pretty firm with her customers. She didn't deal with a lot of bullshit. She partied with them too, right? She
Yeah,
would
my-
take
my
shots
mo-
with them.
My mother used to drink gin and water.
Oh, gross.
You ever-
Well-
I tried it.
Hold on.
Oh, that's awful.
I'll tell you what.
It's awful.
I went through a period where, and this is going to sound even worse. I drank gin and hot water,
Hot
What is
water.
wrong with
hot
you?
water
Why?
and lemon.
Were
Why?
you fighting
Well,
a virus?
I had a sore
COVID.
throat.
He was
You were
fighting
fighting
COVID back
COVID.
then, just didn't know
I
it.
had a
You're
sore
ground
throat,
zero.
and that's I had
patient
I had
zero.
it in the house, and you know what? It tasted great.
You were desperate, and you tried it.
No, it tasted really good.
You put honey in it, you said?
I put
hot
lemon.
water.
Lemon.
I
That's
put
what it
lemon
was.
in it. Hot water, like tea, because I was trying to figure out. I want to do something in gargle or something. I was like, started drinking this, and after a while, it started tasting good, and I was like, I'm digging this.
Like after 10 of them?
After 10 bottles, perhaps.
So that became your drink for a while?
Yeah,
Like-
for like 6 months.
Oh, my
yeah, during the
God.
winter time. I mean,
You're nuts.
it tasted good to me.
That's
In
gross.
fact, what I would do when I come home is I would turn on the coffee pot and I would just run hot water. And I wouldn't
Wow.
put coffee in it. I just run hot water, put it on the burner, leave it going. I'd make another drink, pour it, mix it with some gin. I'd sit there with a little lemon, and I would sit there and drink it like a hot tea.
Yeah.
And it was good. I enjoyed it.
So I had a gin and tonic, and it was a one and done. I got to a party. Somebody handed me a gin and tonic. I had just come from Whataburger. No. I brought my Whataburger with me to the party.
Yeah.
Gobbled my
Who does
Whataburger down.
that?
I was so excited.
Who does that?
Somebody handed me a gin and tonic. I drank it, and I lost my Whataburger.
Really?
I'll never get it back.
What?
You
What is
could
going
have.
on over
I
there?
hurled. My whole Whataburger came up when I drank the gin and tonic. It was a one and done. Never again gin. Forget it.
I think we're doing with bourbon. We're getting into gin now.
I'll tell you
No
what,
way, I'm out.
I was drinking gin and
Nasty
tonic.
ass shit right
Little
there.
beef
Yeah, I don't
eaters.
care
Beef
for it.
eaters was like one of the first cliche
Yeah, it
gin
was.
drinks. Beef eaters gin.
Yeah, but I was
Tanqueray.
drinking something else. I
Tanqueray
can't
came
remember
around
the name of it.
afterwards.
It wasn't either one of that, Beef Eaters or Tanqueray.
Oh, a different kind of gin, you mean?
Yeah, it was a lot cheaper than that, I think.
It's called ass.
But I was drinking gin and tonic and smoking cool cigarettes.
Oh,
my
menthol? Were they
gosh.
menthol?
gross.
That's
Menthols.
menthol. That's some
So
super
what was the biggest seller out of your trunk? The biggest seller. The
It was that
fastest moving merchandise item.
vodka.
Yeah, you can mix that
So
with anything.
vodka's so universal.
Well, and you
can
can't
mix,
you
smell
can
it.
mix it with anything.
So all these kids
Yeah.
going home.
And we had, and back then they even had a couple flavors.
no.
Yeah, they had like strawberry, I think it was.
I thought that
and-
was a recent thing.
No, they had that cherry vodka. I
remember,
think.
it's all in circles.
It was cherry vodka.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I remember that real well because I got sick
So
on cherry
what
vodka.
was
one
time.
the gin? Was it like was it like the Plymouth gin?
You already said it was ass.
No. He did not say it was ass.
No,
you
that's
said
what
it was
Jeff
ass.
said.
That actually sounds pretty close.
those
So it's
ass
antique Plymouth
vodka.
gin.
Says
There's
ass
there's a
gin.
Booth's. A Booth's
That Plymouth
gin.
sounds pretty close to it.
Gordon's gin came out in
That's
the
it,
70s,
that's it.
80s. Gordon's.
Gordon's gin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got the gold label and the kind of the square bottle.
Yeah.
That was the gin that you sold? That you
No, that he
That's
drank.
what I was drinking.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you said your mom drank it and it was nasty. Why would you drink it?
Man,
I
look,
drank it with tonic. She
look,
drank it with
everything
water.
is an acquired taste. You know, it's just
it is. It's true.
once you start drinking it. I mean, hell, beer is. I mean, the first time I drank beer, I was
Yeah.
kind of like, "Have you lost your fucking mind? you
with
guys
you.
are drinking this shit."
I'm with
right.
you. It was awful.
There you go. See it? Yellow
Yeah,
label. I
there
still
you go.
remembered it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
It's got a warthog
See,
on it
that's
or
what we
something.
do, Alan. We do a lot of reminiscing.
Arkansas. No, it's from England. It's an English product. You know those. So it's made out of what
Psycho-British.
kind of berry? A gin berry?
Juniper. Isn't it?
Juniper berry. That's right.
Yeah.
Juniper berry, man, it's very,
What does that mean?
very unique taste.
That's actually
They
Out
still
of-
make that?
That's actually a
They
South
don't make that
African
anymore, right?
gin.
South. Well, it says England.
Well, it
Hold on,
says
hold on. What are you
distilled and
saying?
bottled in South Africa.
What were you saying about a juniper berry? They make.
That's what gin is made
That's
out
what
of.
gin's
That's
made
what
out
all
of.
gins
It's
are made out
the
of.
base,
Aha.
like the
I had no idea.
Yeah.
the tequila
So that's
is
why
from the
gin
blue
is so
agave
bad, 'cause
plant.
juniper berry sucks.
Whoa.
Wow.
Gin
Looks
is
good,
awful. Sorry, bros.
You are really angry about losing that water
I
burger.
lost that Whataburger, and it was a hard night.
I think we did try
Well-
some gin. Just like we tried Evan Williams, you fought your demons and you got it down.
These demons on this white label Evan Williams will be here for a while. Thank
Oh.
you, Jeff.
So you
I didn't
got
do
you got
that to
this
you.
bar, and it's you're in the 50s, 60s, and you said it's a country bar. So you, like you were saying, you got like Roy Clark, you got the old school stuff. So were you in there listening to all this music?
Well,
We actually had a live band every weekend.
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
Saturday night?
Was it
Yeah.
like Buck Owens kind of stuff?
Yeah,
And-
it was.
Really
I'll
heat
tell you.
all
I'll
shit.
tell you what they had back then. Country western music. They had that electric guitar, that twang. That's where that twang comes from.
Slide guitar.
Oh, yeah, slide
It's an
guitar.
electric guitar. Looks like it's a guitar on 4 legs.
Yeah,
Oh,
slide-
yeah, no, it's
That's a
it's,
slide
And,
guitar.
and then you can really twing that thing. Bang. I mean, you talk about twang. That's where that.
So
came
that's not
from.
a slide guitar. That's a.
slide
It's a
guitar.
harpsichord.
Is that what it's called?
I
No.
believe so.
Because when they put, they have a little metal thing. The guy that played the slide guitar, they put a little metal thing on their finger and they slide it. They hold the guitar normally.
I thought that was a slide guitar when they were sitting down at the table.
Yeah, right. And it's.
I thought that was a slide
They called
guitar.
it an electric guitar. I bet you. Look at that up.
Yeah.
What's a pedal steel guitar?
Steel guitar.
The
maybe
pedal
that's what
steel
it's
guitar.
called.
Steel
guitar.
guitar.
It's a console type of
Yeah.
steel
That
guitar with
sounds
pedals and
There you
knee
go,
levers
steel
that
guitar. I
change
remember
the
something like
pitch
that,
of
yeah.
a certain strings to enable playing more varied complex music than just
Right.
the regular
Because the
guitar.
slide is when they held it like a normal guitar, slide guitar, and they got a little thing that they put over their finger. Look up slide guitar.
Well, is a slide. Well, dude, any guitar is a slide guitar when you have
No.
that little
Thimble.
little penis sheath over it. You know.
No, it's about that long like this, and you bring it up and down.
Yeah,
Well,
right
well,
there.
Finger sheath. That's a slide guitar.
Okay, but hold
No,
on.
Any guitar could be a slide guitar.
So look,
not
so they
saying
have another type for like the pedal steel guitar. They have, instead of having it one that fits around your
they
finger,
hold it.
it almost looks like a roll of nickels.
Yes.
It's solid. It's a solid piece of metal.
Right.
And-
We just looked at
No,
that.
no, they didn't
It's
show
over the
that.
finger. It's over the finger.
It's not over the finger. You don't put your finger in it. You hold
Yeah.
it.
And the
well, that's kind of what they're
on the
doing.
steel guitar,
No,
that
it's
right
not.
there.
There it is. Right
Yeah,
there.
there you
right
go.
there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they did the same thing on the steel guitar this way.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
and
had this thing. They held it and moved
In
it
fact,
up and down.
Mr. Producer, can you pull up an audio of Sleepwalk? So
You're
this
talking about
is
the song "Sleepwalk."
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I
this
remember
one
that.
is made with
The Cento and Johnny.
I don't know.
See, you didn't give enough information. I knew it was.
He
gonna
said
fail.
any sleepwalk.
Well, whatever. Just play it.
Yeah, but how's that going to work?
That's Dick Clark.
These fellas you're about to meet, their names are
Well,
Sando
maybe,
and Johnny. Now,
like-
they're brothers. Now, yes, now, by
Dick
idea for
Clark.
a song. Now, come on, you know, Glenn. And
Well, this is what songs were like. There you go.
There you go. There's the steel. See, there you go. It's a classic.
There we go. All right, I'm going to retract. You
I
got
know.
this one.
You think you got the babes?
This was a hot song. This song is still hot
Still
today.
hot.
It is.
It's a fantastic song.
Oh, this song's right up your alley, Alan.
He's jamming on that too, man.
I have that song on one of my playlists. As soon as he said "Sleepwalk," I knew what he was talking about.
Absolutely. All right, very nice. Okay.
All right, thank you, producer. And the women would love it too. They'd be like, "Oh, look at you play the pedal steel guitar. Oh, he is so dreamy
And you're wearing that jacket,
Yes.
and
He's
your
just,
hair's
like,
all
rocking
all
down.
curled up and moosed.
with the dice."
It's got greased all down.
Oh, yeah.
Alan, what is up with that, Alan? What is up with the
was
whole
that
grease?
your
and
look?
the
Was that your
Sha
look
Na
back
Na
then?
era, or the West Side Boys,
West Side Story.
West Side Story, where they're all slicking their hair back.
So what'd you do
Hey.
to your hair? Was your hair like all like
Did you have
slicked?
Did you have a DA?
What?
I didn't have much hair.
Duck's ass.
Yes, you did.
He had a duck's ass, is what it is.
I comb my hair the same way I am right now, except it had more of it than it went on the side.
And it wasn't white.
It wasn't white. It didn't turn white till I was 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a Vinny
Little early.
I was
Barbarino.
thinking that. Yeah, but I tell you what, that air. Think about Fonzie, what he did.
Oh, yeah.
Fonzie in that part of it. Look how
He
what
never
he did. 'Cause
touches
he
hair,
was the
so
tough
like-
guy, right?
Yeah, he was like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you did. They had that real heavy duty black hair, and they put grease on it and just slide
Oh,
that
yeah.
son of a gun back. Well,
Well,
Yeah.
like
Imagine what their pillow looked like.
Yeah, Grease.
but only the guys.
Like
I mean,
The
not
movie Grease.
regular people in school didn't do that.
Oh,
Just
just
the
Hollywood?
It's
greasers.
like the gang
They
side
called
of
them
it did, or
greasers, didn't they?
how you say it? I mean, they were like gangs. They were like these cliques that did that, mostly Spanish guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
what they call them, greasers?
Yes.
Really?
Interesting.
That was the term you gave him?
That's the term they had. Yeah.
That
Just
was
the
just
hair.
that was the term, the greasers, because they would have
Greaser,
greasy
okay.
hair, and they would not just greasy hair, but they would use the products in their hair that would make it extra greasy.
Like
but
motor oil?
perhaps some sort of version of that, but
Jerry curl.
probably something that's a little
Sure,
bit
it
safer
wasn't
for the
good
head.
you.
But
Was it
the
Jerry curl?
idea was to
Jerry
take
curl.
the hair and slick it back so it would stay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be in a windstorm, shit ain't moving.
Right.
No.
You know,
And they didn't have hairspray, I don't think then. They used to,
No.
whatever that was, they kept it there.
that
They probably had hairspray. I don't know.
Basically,
but
it's
I
like-
didn't use it, but I'll
it's
tell
like
you what.
petroleum jelly. It's just, once that thing coagulates, it's just like
Sure.
it's there. The freaking cannon.
It was like a
looks
big
Anyway,
old
but-
vat.
Whether they were, I'm not saying only Spanish people, but if you were in that gang or that little, whatever they had, most of them, they called them gangs then, obviously,
Yeah.
like they do today. But
The
there was
Jets and the
white,
Sharks.
there was white, Spanish, Italian, Spanish, Mexican, whatever, and that's exactly how all the guys comb their hair.
But they were real gangs, though. I mean, they really got into it with each other, and there was real crime back then, right?
it's all tribal. I mean, it's all in the inner city, depending where you live. I don't know how much that shit was floating around in Pueblo, Colorado.
No,
but,
there's a lot of it. Tell
Was there?
some stories. You got the Italians and the this and the that, and
Who did that? Pueblo
Well-
was called Little Chicago.
Bulgarians.
No shit. I never even heard about that. I mean, now that we're talking about it, it makes sense because Pueblo is a big city, and
Well,
it's in the center of the United States.
it's 150,000 people.
So many. There's so much influence because of all. I mean, that is a main vein for where all the train stations have come through. So you have opportunity for a lot of different ethnicities
Yeah.
to evolve there.
And-
So I can only imagine.
Well, the way they started there, pardon me, but what happened was when they built that steel mill, it's an integrated steel mill where you brought iron ore and coke together, limestone,
it's that gigantic one that you can see from 25, right?
and that's what starts to make steel. And
Right.
then you bring it in there, and then you get it to 2,200 degrees, and then you start making steel.
Right.
But you had to bring all that in, especially the iron ore and the coal and the whole shot in to make steel, correct?
Right.
Well, they didn't have nobody in Pueblo at that time to work there. So, like my family, my grandparents were brought over from Italy, came into New Orleans, not in Rikers Island, but in New Orleans, and then they made their passage to go to Pueblo, Colorado to work there. So that's how they paid their passage.
Oh wow.
But you had what they called the Bojans back then. You had the Italians,
What do they call it?
and
Is
then the
The
Bojans.
Bojans?
Bojans were Yugoslavian at that time, is what country they were from.
Okay.
As Yugoslavians, and then you had the Spanish people. That's literally Spain Spanish. Yeah, not Mexicans.
Are those indentured servants, basically? Or is it
And then you
earn your
had-
way through and you get to pay it back with
They
by
didn't get
working for
nothing.
them?
They just got paid for coming over, and that's how they paid it back. So they went to work. My grandfather was like 12 when he went to work, and
Yeah,
14 when he worked. In
Unbelievable.
there.
that's an indentured servant.
Seems
Anyway,
like it.
but to get to your point, they all lived in different parts of the city, right?
segregated,
Oh,
They were all segregated.
okay.
Everybody was segregated. Irish, the Bojans, the
and they stuck
Italians,
to their own.
the white people, and they stayed segregated.
Yeah.
And you didn't mess around with that. And the reason we never learned how to talk Italian in our house is because they didn't want you to know, the people in town know you were Italian because you were segregated
Discriminated against.
Yeah, exactly. Discriminated against.
So what are some?
Yeah. Your father said don't speak Italian because he didn't want you guys to be shit on or picked
Yeah,
on.
they
Or,
said you don't want.
Oh, did he
people
say
to know.
that, or was like, "Hey, don't speak in Italian"? Did he have a dialect? Thanks,
No,
Chuck.
it didn't sound quite like that.
Pepperoni.
But the man couldn't read English. The man never could read English. He could speak English, but he couldn't read it.
Oh.
But anyway, it's
crazy.
my grandmother was one of 16 children, and my grandpa was one of 8. It took him, I can't remember, 10 years to get everybody into this country.
Damn.
Well,
And
I
then,
can
and
understand
then
if you're
you talked about the Christmas thing,
constantly
right?
pregnant.
I won't get into that whole thing. But then they had all these families. Imagine going back ahead of me 40 years, right? 30 years, older than me at that point. And everybody and all these families and sisters and their kids all come into one place
Right.
to have Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve started in the afternoon, and it didn't end till midnight on Christmas night.
Party, party, party.
It was, everybody playing cards, drinking the homemade wines, doing the
Nice.
whole works. Yeah, it was amazing. That was family.
Oh, that's family. Yeah.
That's family.
And you didn't do anything with friends. You didn't do anything with that was it.
It was all
It
family.
was all family, 100% family.
So the
Nice.
the tribal or the gang stuff is literally just people on the outside, and I don't know. You meet them at work.
Remember, everybody's so isolated. Then you protect your turf.
Yeah.
You got something going on, or somebody wanted to go mess with your sister,
Hey, who's this
and
guy?
he'd come from the outside.
Who's this
Right.
guy
No
walking down the
way.
street?
No, but you kind of made a point. It's like outside of family, you go to work and they have some of them there. No, maybe not. You should answer that. Like even at work, like were they segregated like beginning to end? At the job, at the this, at the that?
I don't know about the job. I don't know that part.
Okay. What about the bar? I mean,
About
Yeah, who
at the
who
bar.
hung
I mean,
out at the
did they
bar? It's a
not let-
country bar.
did they
so-
not let like certain types of people in? Or?
my parents' bar was set however 10 blocks from the steel mill. So all the people come in there, get off the graveyard shift. They started there at 7:00 in the mornings when they walked in there, just because that was their shift, like you and I getting off at 5,
They
right?
started drinking at the bar at 7 a.m.
Well, because they worked the night shift. So it was just like you and I working a day shift, going in at 5:00.
How are you open at 7 in the morning?
Well, you opened up at 7:00. Well, I had to clean it at 6,
Because they were getting off.
and they'd be at the door waiting to open it.
Oh,
Were these other Italians?
They were all walks. That was my
Just,
point I was going to make. What
everyone.
he said. There was a lot of different. I mean, a lot of
Okay.
different. Everybody was different then. It
man, when
wasn't
people
just
wanted to come together and drink, it didn't matter where you're from.
They sit there and drink those 75-cent shot, and they called it Boilermakers. They started dropping shots and drinks back when I was growing up.
Right.
They talk about now where you deal
Yeah,
with
Boilermakers that was a popular drink.
Yeah.
I love a Boilermaker. And you were a man when you ordered a Boilermaker.
So it's a shot of something dropped into something
It's a
else.
shot
Dropped
of
in a
whiskey
beer.
shot
and
of
a
whiskey
beer.
dropped
And
like Sunnybrook. Sunnybrook and Jim Beam was the biggest thing.
A
And
shot of
and you had
Sunnybrook.
Seagram 7 if you wanted something smoother.
Right. But
Uh,
a shot of Sunnybrook dropped into a glass of beer.
Walter's beer or
And then you
Miller
chug the
beer.
whole thing.
Miller beer, Miller High Life back then.
I don't think I've ever tried the two of them mixed
Budweiser.
together.
All right.
Well, I mean, it's
Challenge
not
accepted.
fantastic.
Challenge accepted.
It was just one of those things that
With Frio.
they did it. It's probably like, hey, I'm gonna buy you a shot and a beer. Let's just down this real quick. We gotta head home and go beat the wife.
Yeah, but why didn't you just have a glass of beer or a glass of beer
It's true,
and, then,
though.
and just pour? I mean, what's the fascination with dropping it in?
Well,
there?
you drop
I'm just
it in
saying
there,
a
it
lot of them
mixes it.
dropped it in there. Some of them just poured it in there, but you poured it in the beer.
Right. Okay,
You
I'm just
poured it
curious.
in the beer.
I'm just curious what the fascination of dropping it in there, just because it's fun.
Yeah. It foams.
Yeah, actually,
it wasn't like it kept them
dropping-
separated until you did something.
No, I think I think that kind of that doesn't really do a whole lot. In fact, it's stupid to
it's
drop.
just showman.
Yeah, you're spilling it everywhere. And
It's
shit.
not a matter of that. It's a matter of chipping the glass, and then I don't know how well I guess the glasses were made well back then, but you got an opportunity to chip the glass and then drink the
So
chip.
check this out. So I was at a place called a sushi bar called Raw on Legacy East, and
Oh, look at me!
Well, no,
Sushi did sake bombs.
and look with sake bombs. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
sake
there would be a
bombs.
glass of sake, and over the sake glass, you would put chopsticks,
Yep.
and then you'd put a shot of
Sake.
sake over beer.
Correct.
Okay, and then all of you have that set up, and then you bang the table until the chopsticks separate and the thing drops. Talk about a mess.
Dude, that's got general liability
Yeah.
written all over it.
Dude, it's a mess. The shit's going everywhere. I
I
would
did this
rather.
in Mexico City.
I mean, I guess it's fun because we're all banging it until it fell in, and then you're supposed to chug it.
Bunch of tards.
No,
Anyway, that and then obviously red beers.
red beers. Okay.
Now,
There's
red
tomato
beers is
juice.
red
dumped in
beers
the
is
beer.
interesting. They've it's
No,
like,
what does that mean?
it's like a Bloody Mary and
Beer
a
with-
beer.
Orange with tomato juice in it.
Is it chelada?
Beer with tomato juice is
Don't
a
they
red
call
beer.
Don't they call those
It's called
cheladas?
red beer.
No,
I've
that was
I've
the
never heard
Hispanic
that.
version of it.
I think that was
it's the same
35
thing, though,
cents.
essentially they have some lime and some seasoning in the cheladas, but
Salada's not too bad.
they taste good. They don't taste bad at all.
Hold on. A shalada. Walk me through what's a shalada.
Chelada.
See, that's another big beer.
Shalada.
Hams was a big
Schlitz.
beer back then.
Hams, yeah.
Hams.
Wow. Yeah,
Hams?
there's some old schools. Hams was like.
Oh, my dad used to love
All right,
singing
so
that.
all right, look. Back in the
Schlitz.
day, the government
Schlitz
used
was
to
another
make
big one.
A beer.
yeah.
Beer. Schlitz.
The government
Schlitz.
used to make everything. All right. So when I say everything, they would have a government brand of bread. They have a government brand of peanut butter, a government brand of, and it'd be like this white packaging.
Government cheese.
And yeah, cheese, government cheese. It'd be this white package.
That was
but
in Germany.
no, this was in the United States, and they would have something that said beer. Okay, and that's what it was. Hams was the beer that was the generic beer that the government sold. So a little factoid there.
Really?
So yeah, because you go to the store,
Really? I didn't know that.
and it doesn't say anything. It just says fucking beer. I mean,
Beer.
there's no. That's it. What do you want? You beer. You want bread. I mean, that's how shit was labeled for.
That sounds like Soviet Russia.
Well, it kind of was, but it was more designed for like I said, the military. For
Have you
but
guys
anyways,
ever had a Hams?
Yes,
It's
Yes,
good. It's not a
yes.
bad beer.
it's like a Olympia. It's just a.
Was it that the beer that had the bear? This is one that was the icon for the Hams beer?
I don't remember.
I think it was a bear.
I just know the song. My dad used to sing it. A beer is a beer is a beer is a beer until you tasted Hams.
Oh, really? But I think it was a bear, literally a bear that was the.
I don't know.
it-
What's the Hams logo?
Well, there was. It,
Yeah,
it
the
was.
Hams
It
logo.
was a
It's a
bear.
pig.
the pig.
So there was. In fact, it was and plus the twins. So the Pabo Hams beer bared in the twins.
See, what is that? Is that a
It's
lion?
got a lion.
Well, that is, but so they have a. If you
Born
pull
in the
up
land
Hams,
of sky blue waters.
there's a bear right there,
There it is.
Oh,
That's
that
what
bear.
Yeah.
That's what I
That's
remembered.
like Yogi Bear.
from the land of sky blue waters.
That's what I remembered.
There you go.
Yeah.
The big one where I had
I
was
didn't realize my memory was this good.
I'm telling you, you're killing
Hudipole. We had Hudipole
Wait for the second podcast.
and Wiedemann's. Yeah.
We're gonna go down and tear it up a little bit.
I'm sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, the one I didn't grow up really drinking Hams. We had Hudipole and Wiedemann.
What? What was that? Hudipole?
Hudipole.
What? I've never heard of that in my life.
In my life, heard that.
Yeah, it's a
Look up Walter's beer.
Hudipole
Producer.
beer.
I pull up Hudipole beer and Yingling pops up.
No.
Ooh, did one buy the other? Did Yingling buy that?
I don't know. The Hudipole was a Cincinnati beer.
Yeah,
How do you-
this is Walt. Oh no, it is. Hold on.
How do you spell it?
Hudie Gold.
Okay, that's Walters.
That was distilled and everything was made in Pueblo, Colorado.
Really?
Looks like an
Yes,
oil
I
can.
do remember Walter's beer. I mean, I lived in Colorado for a section of my life. We
Did
lived
you?
in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Fort Carson.
Oh, yeah, you're 37 miles north of Pueblo.
For how long?
yeah. Well, probably 2 years.
You were 2 years old.
No, you asked me how long, not when.
No, I'm kidding.
All right.
How old were
so,
you?
second grade.
You have to be.
So
so
8
you were
years
8.
old.
You were 8 years old
So
in
you were
second grade.
a big beer drinker back then.
No, but I do remember.
He was 14 in the second grade.
You know what's crazy? my dad. So if you were, I put a little pin on where we used to live, and then I put a pin where you ever like zoom into Google and see the entry to NORAD in the side of the mountain.
I've never done that before. No.
Never done that.
All right. Well, I have. So I have my house and I have NORAD. It's like 2 miles away.
So you could have been saved if there was a nuclear strike. You would have run.
I
to
think my dad would abandon us.
Oh,
Ah,
that's depressing.
well, he can.
They said NORAD
He
was
can start another
actually
one.
one of
God,
the first
he can appropriate more.
installations
He's
to
young
be
enough.
taken out in the United States would be NORAD.
No, it's in a mountain. It can't be taken out.
Oh yeah, it can be.
These
taken out.
bombs today, they probably can be.
Yeah,
take
some
out
of these
anything
bunker
now.
busters can, but I don't think
You can take out
NORAD-
anything now.
I know.
NORAD's a little bit. NORAD's a little different, but I think that I think you're right. Some of the technology now, I think they don't use NORAD anymore. NORAD has been abandoned as far as.
No, that's not true. They track Santa with it.
Oh, that's true. Did you hear about them
yes.
tracking Santa this
I
past
did.
year?
Plus, the way you could always tell where NORAD was is you see all these damn antennas on top
So
of that mountain.
we
Nothing
had.
but antennas all over. You ever notice that?
No.
Nothing but antennas on top of that mountain where NORAD was.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes it pretty
that's
obvious.
true. In fact, Paul, if it's not far on the way to your dad's cabin.
Yeah. through
In
Pikes Peak
fact, if
area.
you're looking on top of that little mountain, well, that's where it's at.
Do they have tours?
Really,
no, I don't
NORAD
think
is
so.
Pikes Peak?
It's not far.
Colorado Springs. Pikes Peak is a little further north.
Yeah, it's not
Really?
not further,
Yes.
not
Yeah,
that
not
bad.
Garden of the Gods.
Dude, I could see
little
Pikes Peak from my front yard.
Pikes Peak is further north than
So
Garden
there
of
was
the
a phone
Gods.
call that someone had called in to celebrate the sighting of a Santa Claus from the NORAD. NORAD was like calling in, so they had this dad. He's like, "Oh my gosh, yes, we're in NORAD, and we have sighted Santa, and we want to report this." And Joe Biden and his wife got on the TV, and they were like, "Oh, so what's going on?" And so they have this full conversation, and they talk about the kids, and they talk about this and that. And at the very end of the conversation, the guy is like, "I want you to have a wonderful Christmas, and I want you to have a wonderful Christmas, and let's go, Brandon." Yeah, let's go, Brandon. Joe Biden
He
says.
goes, yeah, that's right. Let's go, Brandon. He repeated
How inept? How
it. So that
Look,
guy
look,
is
look.
getting torn
He
up.
is.
Listen,
he
oh,
is
hold
bad.
on. Look, Alan, do you know when I say "let's go, Brandon" what that means?
I do not.
Yeah, Paul.
I do
Okay,
not.
so let's just move forward for the rest of this conversation. There was an event, and they were saying, "Fuck Joe Biden."
They're
Fuck Joe Biden.
Yeah, the crowd is chanting it.
Those
And this
NASCAR,
is,
Fuck Joe
NASCAR race.
they've been
Biden.
doing this at every sporting event across the
So
nation.
the
Wow.
caster, she was like, "Oh, look, they're saying let's go, Brandon. Let's
was
go,
interviewing-
Oh,
Brandon."
that's what she
So
She was interviewing a Brandon
so
driver.
they
Who won the NASCAR?
they were now
won
it's a
that.
joke. So now everyone says instead of saying "fuck Joe Biden," which is kind of
Rude.
mean, and just not real nice.
profane.
They say let's go, Brandon. So it means the exact same
the same thing.
But my point is that this came out 7 months ago. Okay,
They hate it.
Joe,
they
but Joe
claim-
Biden knows about it. So if you knew that "let's go, Brandon" equals "fuck Joe Biden," and someone were to say that, I mean, especially if I'm Joe Biden,
You wouldn't say that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, he would go.
Come on,
he
man.
would be immediately. He would say, "Come on, man," or
He
he like
wouldn't-
shake his head in disgust.
but the fact that he didn't get it.
He goes, "Oh, "Yes, right. Let's go."
He said,
Brandon."
"Let's go, Brandon."
He said,
Yes, he
"Okay,
did.
yeah, let's go,
Yes.
Brandon." So I'm kind
He
of like,
repeated it.
but that's my point. That's why I think that the elevator's not going all the way up, and it scares
no
me.
doubt about
There is
that.
no elevator, bro.
And I don't want to. I
There's
don't
no
want to.
elevator.
I don't want to. The point of this topic isn't to beat him up. I feel bad
sad.
for him because I think it's on the verge of elderly abuse.
It is elderly
And I
abuse.
just like, come on, this guy doesn't have. He doesn't know what's going on.
I know.
And honestly, I don't think he's even running the show. I think it's the Obamas that are running the show. And I think they want to continue this campaign. And I know you don't talk about politics, but they want to continue this campaign because they're starting to bring up Michelle Obama to be starting the 2024 presidential election.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep. They introduced her name and they didn't officially put it in the plate, but they were like, yeah,
For who was?
Michelle Obama,
Oh my God.
Barack's
Well, but her
man
biggest
wife.
Her
Yeah.
biggest accomplishment was making school lunches taste
lunches.
horrible.
No.
Not edible anymore.
Yes. But my
All
point
right.
is that they had said that, and I felt bad because I was kind of like,
He said
How-
he was making a joke.
how can he not know that "let's go, Brandon"? I mean, because if you hear it once, you hear it twice. They've been saying it nonstop every single day for 7 months,
in his presence.
and I was kind of like, dude, when are you going to learn that means go fuck yourself?
Yeah, but that guy is being like whatever.
He's getting death threats.
He's getting death threats. The father
Yeah.
that made that joke.
Fuck you. Who cares?
And first off, he didn't know it was being live streamed, is what he said.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Who's getting
Yeah,
death
he knew it.
threats?
In fact, he used the words.
The guy that said, "Let's go, Brandon."
Yes.
Yeah.
He's getting death threats.
So what?
Yeah, whatever.
I
That's
mean,
ridiculous.
are they going to pull through with it? The thing is that he said as soon as he said it, the line was cut.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, come on.
I think it's kind of funny.
It is
Personally.
a little funny.
It's sad, but it's funny.
Well, yeah. Merry Christmas, though. That was kind of the point of the whole thing. And how was your Christmas, Paul?
It was great. It was great. We had a lot of fun.
Well, hold on. What was your favorite gift?
Dildo.
Jeff?
No,
Jeff spoke out of line. Jeff, you saying your favorite gift was a dildo?
No, I get a dildo every year. It's a little.
Oh,
It's not
That's
that
your
fun
tradition.
anymore.
That's your tradition.
Yeah, it's just not that fun. And I tell them, guys, I don't need another one.
yeah. Well, you need the
I've
double.
got 18 of them.
The double ended with the kung fu grip.
Okay. Okay.
What's a kung fu grip?
I'm trying to remember. What did I get? Oh, I got some kick-ass shoes.
Oh.
You know what? We've downplayed gifts for each other, and we really focus on the kids, like what they would. So.
Yeah, but what do they want? They don't want anything.
Oh, we got one of them got the ocular deal. What do you call the VR deal?
Oculus, yes.
And they got like tons of clothes, which they're freaks about. They did good, right? I mean, help me out here.
Oh yeah, they did great. I mean, yeah, they got a lot of sweatpants and shirts and
You know what?
tennis shoes and.
I'm going to tell you the gift that Shelly and I got.
You got gifts.
Oh.
Mr. Father-in-law over here paid for an all-expenses paid vacation to Mexico this summer.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you
Yes.
what. We're gonna
Yes, he did.
we're gonna take a Dudes Like Us pause. We're gonna talk about those gifts and much more, and we're also gonna talk about why certain other folks weren't invited to the same package. That's all coming up on the next second half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very scandalous lead-in.
Yeah. Well, it's all about me.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to Dudes Like Us. I'm Paul.
I'm Sean.
Now, Jeff.
And
And you
special
are?
guest star, Hot Rocket Shotgun Allen.
Thank you very much.
Don't worry about it. He just fucking broke the mic.
Just broke it.
God damn it. See,
You were so close to
can't
getting to
have
the second
anything.
half.
All right, we'll be back.
All right. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.